Hey everybody. Sorry about lack of content lately. I seem to be having some technical difficulties with the hookups on my shit sandwich computer, so I apologize for the low quality audio today, but I refuse to let this technical difficulty stop me from talking at everyone. So please enjoy a very special after school episode of Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts. Thank you very much. Hey everybody, welcome to Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts. I'm your host Mike. Pardon my absence for the last 2 weeks. I made a New Year's resolution to get off buprenorphine. For those who don't know, I am a recovering addict. Amongst other things. But yeah, no, I've been taking buprenorphine for about 6 years, and it's time to quit. It's time to get off of it. So I was really sick the last 2 weeks. My skeleton hurt. Taking lots of calcium. Yeah, I'm still not quite through the clear yet. If I could sum up my current status in one word, it would be drippy.
Since you're dripping on all my stuff.
That would be the best adjective I could come up with for how I feel and how my body is reacting at the moment. So I apologize in advance if you hear me sniffle and snort or go or anything like that. There may be quite a bit of that. So just fair warning. I'm still recuperating, as it were. Man, the depression part was the shittiest, but I'm glad that's over. Really robbed me of my motivation. That and the cold were a 1-2 punch that really fucking just got me right in the sack. So again, I apologize for lack of content. Yeah, I just had to deal with it. That's all there is. Like I said, I made a New Year's resolution, and I'm trying to get better about making deals with myself. Odin didn't need no fucking buprenorphine to rip his own eye out and hang from the tree. So what do I need it for? You know what I'm saying? I got to get my brain back to normal smartness. Anyways, so yeah, once again, sorry for the absence, and sorry in advance for any weird, gross noises I might make. Yes, I am back. There's nothing that will stop a man such as myself who is fueled by hate and rage and disgust and cup after cup after cup of coffee. I think, men such as myself and the same motivations that keeps moving, it's what keeps the world spinning. So, anywho, man, a lot of weird shit happened while I was out. I'm just going to cut right to the quick of it and jump into what's weird this week. Let's talk Miami Mall alien. We have to. I'm going to say right off the bat, I haven't seen no fucking alien, but you know what I did see? A vast over expenditure of taxpayer money for a couple kids who may or may not have had sticks. My stars. There was a whole lot of fucking police showing out for what may or may not have been sticks or fireworks. Even a mass shooting. Even if it was a mass shooting, that was quite the turnout. If anything, I think it shows that a police state is a potential that is alive and well, if not, in your fucking face at the moment. But hey, fuck it. People would rather believe in aliens or the Nephilim instead of what's right in front of their fucking faces. So whatever, I'm not gonna. Far be it from me to destroy their pipe dream. On top of that, we've also got what I love that the media is referred to as the Jewish tunnels.
Aha! Aha!
As if the tunnels themselves are acidic. A lot of people were. I don't understand why well, I understand why. Anytime Jewish folks are involved, watch out. Just watch the fucking conspiracy ball get rolling. I know there was a dearth of information right out the gate on that, so a lot of people thought it was extra weird. Plus, the Brooklyn Hasidic community has always been very closed off. From what I understand, they're very insulated. So, anybody who is secretive, of course, is going to cause a stir of output and commotion in the sense that, hey, what's going on? Hey, we don't have any information. Hey, let's fill in the gaps ourselves and just make some shit up. But apparently it all had to do with COVID and getting to a ritual cleansing bath of some sort. And I don't know, at least that's the public line that they're going with. I have no reason to believe that that's not it. I don't know the finer ins and outs of Hasidic Judaism, but I know that, ritual cleansing is a big thing with a lot of religions, so hey, whatever, I could use a ritual cleansing just about every 10 to 15 minutes myself because, as I said, I am feeling drippy. What else is going on? Like I said, I've been under the weather, but, that's by choice, I guess. I'm still not quite through it yet. I'm working on it. I've kind of, I don't know, I've been in therapy for, how do I put this? Intimacy issues and forming relationships with people and, getting to know people or forming new friendships and more so relationships with women, hasn't been going well. It hasn't been going bad, but it hasn't been going well. But I don't know. I'm really starting to think I just need to just not worry about it so much. It's not a big part of my life. I don't know. My interests have really shifted as I've gotten older. I'm not the mad pea hound I once was as a youth. And I don't say that to aggrandize myself. I just, like I'm saying, my priorities have shifted. I would much rather have a fulfilling relationship with someone as opposed to a steady peace or whatever fucking dumb thing I would have fucking said as a kid. I don't know. Part of me is like, you did this to yourself, but I'm also a bit of a fatalist, I guess, when it comes to personal responsibility. And that's why, I talk about things like conspiracies and ufology, because I think a big part of it is there's an inherent want or need behind it to just let go of personal responsibility, I think, because when the aliens are going to come, everything will be fine. Or, it's a conspiracy, so, fucking, it's out of my hands, So there's like this sort of background, I think, just people want a mommy daddy. They want a big sky daddy, invisible man, or an all-encompassing government hiding behind every corner, because it's the illusion of order, and it helps them. It's remind them that not everything surrounding them is chaotic and fucking terrifying. So, you would rather have the security blanket and the illusion, which is fine. I totally get that. I had a security binky till I was, I don't know, in my teens. I totally understand. But I don't know, at some point you gotta ditch the binky and deal with shit. And that's why I don't know, I get so, cheesed off, we'll say, about things like YouTube being so strict on censorship. Like, I know that certain words are triggering, but we're never gonna, be able to deal with things like suicide, which is a word that they don't say, or murder. Like, if we can't talk about these things, if we can't say the word, we're just sticking our heads in the sand, as far as I'm concerned. So, no one ever solved a problem that way. You got to deal with these things head on, and it's not always pleasant, and it's not always nice. But, like I said, like, I'm here talking about addiction and shit, and, you just, sometimes you got to pick up your hammer and fucking go to town on that shit, because that's all you can do. You got to bash your way through it. Either that, or, as I said to my therapist, get over it. Which she thought was hilarious for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because I oversimplified everything in one go. So, yeah. So, there's the whole Miami Mall alien. What really gets me about this Miami Mall alien thing is the Nephilim side to this. I don't know why most people are ready to believe that it's a Nephilim as opposed to anything else. I mean, it's no more ridiculous than anything else, but God, I don't know. And today's topic, like the subject of today's show, we're going to get into aliens, alien abductions specifically. But I don't know, just the research I've done in the past couple days, on and off, depending on how I felt or what my mood was. Just the research I've done, I don't know, the same thing keeps popping up, and I know I probably pick on Christians too much. I don't know. It's like I've said, it's no more ridiculous a belief system than anything else.
Yeah, where's your Messiah now?
Everyone's entitled to their, whatever gets you through the day, whatever helps you out, whatever makes things easier to move through this world. I know that the never-ending maelstrom of bullshit that is reality takes some getting used to, and it takes coping mechanisms of all kinds. So, I try not to, bash on people's shit too hard, their belief systems, how they get through things, but just there's a certain, let's say, anthropocentric principle. That's me being very diplomatic. A diplomatic way of saying egomaniacal or egocentric thought process to Christianity, especially when it comes to aliens and a lot of the shit that's in the news lately that's going on. I don't know. Anytime I hear Christians talk about, like, we're a oppressed minority, like, it's just, dude, whatever. You guys won, all right? What year is it? Exactly. Fucking just relax. Scale it back, people, all right? Nobody's out to fucking throw you to the lions, if that ever even happened in the fucking first place. I don't know. Records from that era are spotty at best. But, I don't know, just the fact that they'll look at things like aliens in the news, and all of a sudden it fits into Bible fucking whatever, prophecy, blah, blah, blah. Or, because the goddamn thing is allegedly 10 foot tall, it's a Nephilim. I don't know. I mean, I got one fucking source telling me that the Nephilim look like clowns, and then I got another source telling me that the 10-foot mall alien is a fucking Nephilim. So, I don't know. A, get your story straight, and B, just fucking relax, all right? I don't know. I don't know why everything is going on like this now. I have heard people say that it's sort of a collective trauma, I guess, that we're going through. Maybe people didn't deal with COVID well enough, or maybe, I don't know, just the last, since about 2016, I'll say, things have been weird as fuck and just nonstop, just extra. people have been fucking extra and over the top, and it's just been a fucking circus. So, I don't know. But that's me railing on. As you can tell, I've kind of been stood up a little bit, maybe. So I'm letting my fucking angry asshole flag fly. So pardon me. So yeah, I don't know. That's really all I have for what's weird this week. But I do have something extra special this week for audio. Okay, so these quote-unquote mysterious recordings are from phone conversations had with a man by the name of Gary Sudbrink, who I believe works for the military, or at least did at the time that these phone calls occurred. These mysterious phone calls were of a quote-unquote alien nature. But I think the thing that really sticks out is just how Queens this Gary Sudbrink guy is, and his father, who repeatedly insinuates himself into the phone calls as well. They ask things like, "Are you an intergalactic spaceman?" and things like this. So I'm just gonna play them all in a series for you. Yeah, I think they pretty much speak for themselves. So here you go.
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
How long?
You're being impersonated by the other voice.
Right. When am I coming back? Is that your question? Okay, there was a break. Hold on. You want to know when I'm coming back to Texas? Oh, is that your question?
So how long are you going to be back from Texas?
How long am I going to be back from Texas? That question doesn't make any sense.
By the other voice.
Okay. I'll be coming back eventually. I can't tell you when. You should know that answer to the question because you seem to know more about me than I do. You know what I'm saying?
Are you an intergalactic person?
Are you a space alien?
Sounds like you hung up.
I can't believe this.
Keep an eye in the sky, he said.
Keep an eye in the sky?
Yeah.
Yes, Kenny, I talked to him. I had a sighting.
Okay, hold on. Say that. Repeat that again. Please repeat. Okay.
Near Orion.
Near Orion.
Holy mackerel. Tonight or just when?
The full moon.
They told
So, double from here.
Repeat.
All my life is gone.
Okay. Repeat last word. I'm hearing static.
All my life is broken.
He hung up.
Hello? Okay. Should I go out right now? Right now? Okay, see, I'm not sure where Orion is now, but we'll go outside. It would show double from me. Repeat that again?
You can contact as the same with you.
I have to think about that. I'd like to see you.
The many. You can contact Hey, let me tell you something. I've been listening to you, and I've had contacts with you.
Government interference? You have? Please explain what type of interference. Okay.
Visitations to be disrupted by them. Appears. Sun will rise from dark side of world. No. The sun will rise from the dark side of the moon.
Okay, what branch of the government? What should I do?
Beware. Government interference. Visitations to be disrupted by them.
Okay. Is that good for me or bad? They hung up.
Oh man. Okay. So I specifically chose this audio because more or less the running theme throughout today's episode is going to be that if there are aliens, I'm pretty sure they're fucking retarded. And that's a hard R too. I am not fucking around. None of this makes sense. None of what they do makes sense. I don't even think they know what they're doing. If they are in fact real. But today's subjects, yeah, so that's what's weird this week. Today's subject for the week is primarily going to be Dr. Karla Turner, but we're also going to talk about another gentleman by the name of Dr. David Jacobs, or Professor David Jacobs, because there's just something about, oh man, okay, so Karla Turner, I dig where she's coming from. She's using a very, how to put this, she's using a very inferential, very intelligent sort of evidence gathering sort of method when it comes to reading reports of UFOs and alien abductions, etc., things like that. But this David Jacobs guy, I gotta take issue with this guy. I'm sure he's great at what he does. He's a hypnotherapist, or ex-professor at not Tulane. He's an ex-college professor. He's a historian, I believe, but somehow got into hypnotherapy. And hypnotherapy and memories of alien abduction are kind of going to be a running theme today as well. It's the whole ephemeral nature of the phenomenon, and specifically these quote-unquote memories or experiences, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not trying to minimize anyone's trauma, because I know it can be very traumatic. I'm skeptical, but I'm trying not to be a skeptical. That was stupid. I'm trying not to be an asshole about it, is what I'm saying. I always want to believe the victim, and I know that these can be very traumatic experiences for people. I've had my own weird experiences, I mean, but I also have the psychological escape hatch of having had weird things happen to me in a hypnagogic state or on psychedelic drugs, so I can just write it off, and it's not, you know, a weird thing that happened to me that I have to deal with on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? It's not a trauma I have to process like it is for most people who've been through these experiences. So like I said, I don't want to, you know, I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes or be a dickhead about it, but I have questions, especially when it comes to Professor Jacobs, excuse me. So yeah, but I mostly want to talk about Dr. Karla Turner because she's very lucid. She's very intelligent. She's a professor as well. I think if I'm remembering correctly, she taught English and editing. So she's a woman of words. She was an educator, and you know, she comes from a similar background as Jacobs. And like I said, the concept of hypnotherapy and hypnotic regression as far as reliving alien abduction experiences are going to be kind of a running theme through this, but that's also kind of what I want to look at because it's a weird, like I said, it's an ephemeral thing. It's not, you know, we don't know what, I guess, level of reality we're dealing with when it comes to this phenomenon. Like, could this all be mental? Could it be physical? I mean, there are people who have, you know, physical, let's say physical phenomenon that goes along with this stuff, and that have been subjected to physical phenomena. It feels very real, but, you know, who knows? Who knows what level of reality this is happening on? So that's what I kind of want to look at today. But yeah, we'll get right into Dr. Karla Turner. By the way, I've got some spotty connections with my computer. It's a real piece of shit. It's really old. So I apologize if this comes out kind of crackly, just shitty audio quality. I'm trying my best to clean it up. So if that is a factor as well, I apologize. Anywho, Karla Turner. So Karla Turner, at the time, I believe 1987, 88, living in Dallas, Texas. She was an educator, working at a community college, I believe, or a college, we'll say. And she ended up finding out that her husband had some strange experience as a child. They both started like dealing with stress factors in their life, and it was affecting them physically. So they were going to separate therapists and finding out like why, because their lives weren't that stressful as far as they were concerned. So she goes to her therapist and she learns these sort of self-hypnosis skills, which she later tried out on her husband. And she, you know, does a memory regression on her husband, and he goes all the way back to like he was 2 years old, I believe it was, and he remembers a strange experience where he was in the car with his father, and then all of a sudden the car stopped. They were surrounded by lights. It's the classic scenario, you know, the whole failing electronics and then missing time, and you don't really know what's happening. But as she goes on with the regression session, her husband starts to see like weird faces behind curtains and just has a very strange, very alien imagery laden sort of flashback. And he starts to panic. And she's like, oh shit, fucking 1, 2, 3, you're out of the fucking hypnosis. So she pulls him out. And they're both very disturbed by what happened. He ends up like drawing pictures of the faces he's seen. And she said that the pictures were so disturbing that she didn't even want to be in the same room as them. They both called their separate therapists and they were like, hey, what's this all about? And her personal therapist, from the excerpt in her book, I believe it was Taken. That's the one I read, at least. She's got a couple books, Taken, Into the Fringe. Maybe it was Into the Fringe. I believe it's Into the Fringe is her first one, and kind of details how they got into this, her and her family. But her therapist is like, don't talk about this. don't go around saying stuff like this. It's not going to make your life easier, which is true. I mean, for the most part, things are kind of easing up in that, direction. People might be a little more laid back about it today, but 1988, not so much. This is, and the problem with the abduction phenomena is that it's, and I'm gonna drop a trigger word here, but it's tantamount to rape, basically. All these like weird experimental procedures that are done on people, medical procedures, they're often of a very sexual nature. They have to do with reproduction, quote unquote, or a hybridization program, according to a lot of people. So there's this reoccurring phenomena of sexual violation or sexual reproduction or just things of a very reproductive nature, we'll say. So it's embarrassing and it's weird and it makes people feel icky and gross, and I totally get it. But this all started with her and the people in her circle, her like immediate family and family friends. This all started with hypnotic regression, basically. And the whole story, from what I read of Into the Fringe, it's almost all hypnotic regression. So there's very little physical evidence. Like, they find weird scars on each other's bodies that they can't explain. But I mean, I don't know, if I drink. So, I mean, you can't account for every mark on you. I mean, especially if you like sleep in bed with someone else and they have toenails, or there's a million fucking ways something could have happened to get a mark on you. But they're like obsessively detailing these marks that just quote unquote show up. This is one of the things I'm skeptical about as far as physical evidence. And then of course they're seeing lights and having weird dreams. So in the way of physical evidence, there's very, very little. But having said that, Dr. Karla Turner does a very good job of sort of dissecting what was happening to her and those around her. However, I will also say she talks about how people who are targeted by this phenomenon often sort of run in the same circles. They're either family or family friends, etc. But they all sort of, coagulate in the same social circles, whatever. Which, to me, seems a bit like a feedback loop, I'll say. Especially when you start doing things like going to group therapy for an abduction experience. You're sort of surrounding yourself with other people who are in this sort of confirmation bias circle of sorts, and I don't know, that's part of it. And she also mentioned specifically that you sort of withdraw from other people who aren't so willing or open to talking about this kind of stuff because you're afraid of what they're going to say. You're afraid of what judgments they may make. So you're like I said, you're putting yourself in a feedback loop, and it's just it's the same people thinking the same things or reaffirming the same thoughts, suspicions, etc. So I don't know. There's that as well. But Karla Turner, like she was very intelligent about how she broke down this phenomenon as far as how it was occurring to her and those around her. And she'd also started doing research into other people's books, like Bud Hopkins and the aforementioned Professor Jacobs and Whitley Strieber's Communion, which she kind of started reading all these books. And that's another thing, because when you immerse yourself in this world for an extended period of time, if this is like all the information you're absorbing, then it's definitely going to color your reality. I know from experience, dude. You have to take a break. You gotta go eat a cheese sandwich. Just something else besides, immersing yourself in all this alien shit, because, it's like it's like the whole number 23 conspiracy. It's like if you're looking for 23s everywhere, you're going to find 23s everywhere. But I do like her. She has this sort of top 10 list, fucking David Letterman style, just of what she's inferred from studying all kinds of various books and contacts and abduction scenarios. And they go like this. Number one, we don't know with any certainty what these entities may be. She's actually one of the few people who she says, like, we don't know if these are aliens. She often refers to them as ultra-terrestrials, I believe, or she calls them aliens. Because we, what the fuck is it? It's alien. It's otherness. It's weirdness. Number two, at least some of the aliens are liars. So, if you're ever abducted by aliens, no matter what they say to you, respond with, okay, what's up? Shut up. Or you can just, wait for one to say something and then look at another one and then point your thumb at them and make the jack off motion with your hand. I bet they'd really get a kick out of that. This is a definite reoccurring thing that I've seen over and over. She said something to the effect of, people ask, what planet are you from, or where are you from? And they responded in kind with everything from planet Lanane to planet Benetton, which if you're, if you're in your late 30s, early 40s, you may know what Benetton is. I don't know, but that's a little joke she made. Number three, human perceptions / memories are controlled by the aliens. This one, there's certain things in here that I agree with, but to a point. I don't know. It's and this is her wording too. So I'm gonna come back and kind of clarify some of these things as far as I'm concerned. Number four, they can create false memories, and not like the kind of satanic panic false memories, like screen memories, like everyone knows, like the owls are not what they seem, things like that. You see a bunny on the side of the road and you like lose time or whatever. Number five, abductees report honestly, but the information that they report is completely controlled by the aliens. So there's that to consider as well. Number six, there's a, what is this? There's a, hold on, sorry. Oh, there is a serious element of human involvement in alien abduction. And in her book, she talks about how her husband was abducted by the military. He actually worked formerly in military intelligence and spoke several languages. So there's that weird connection as well. You'll see that a lot in certain abduction scenarios too. It's very strange. There's always some strange tangential connection. She tells a story about her future daughter-in-law who was going to college for meteorology, who was in the JROTC program. And she wanted to sort of do meteorology for the military, but her recruiter was like, well, don't you want to work with the aliens? And, they didn't know anything about it, about what was going on with her family and friends, etc. So just a very weird sort of coinkadinkle episode that took place. But yes, there is human involvement. They talk about being followed. They talk about, other than a military abduction, which is also a reoccurring theme in a lot of these stories about alien abduction, that, first it's the aliens and it's the military, or then maybe it's a military guy in an alien suit smoking a cigarette who really got abducted by aliens, all the X-Files, and this is not happening, this is not happening. A hoax and a hoax and a hoax and a hoax. Who knows? Number seven, it involves physical procedures with a spiritual goal, and not all the procedures are reproductive in nature. There are many reports that talk about, brain surgeries or injection or extraction of chemicals in the body other than reproductive fluids, etc. Number eight, all of these are physical, but there's also the long-term psychological conditioning. So she mentions that a lot of abductees they end up sort of, how to put this? They have a definite turn of outlook when it comes to their politics, when it comes to their worldview, when it comes to their social interactions, their sexuality. All kinds of different changes take place. Let's see, number 9. It's the reactions that are strange. It's very strange reactions to how people deal with this trauma, basically. Number 9, with advanced technology, the quote-unquote aliens can create total false realities. This, I don't know about. There's no... It's just, the problem is that there's no definite evidence that there are, in fact, quote-unquote aliens, and that there is, in fact, quote-unquote technology. I'm very much of the Jacques Vallée school that this is sort of a strange psychedelic experience. I almost think, personally, that this may have something to do with, I almost want to say regressive memories of before you were born, if that makes sense. Perhaps birth trauma relived. There is a psychedelic researcher by the name of Stanislav Grof who has done extensive work into the sort of reoccurring imagery of trips, especially bad trips, and it's mostly, from what he calls it, relived birth trauma, which is why, there's such a medical overtone to alien abductions, the examinations, etc. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's pretty close, I think. I have my own sort of weird meta theory that I'll get to here in a bit. And then number 10, aliens show a mysterious interest in the human soul. That I could see. I mean, you do hear about that. It is a thing that pops up again and again in alien abduction scenarios. They sort of talk about it. It's so weird that they talk about how they have the right to do this, or they're supposed to be doing this, things like that. You hear that come up a lot as well. The whole reproductive thing, I don't know. It's strange because there's people who swear up and down that the entire reason for all of this is a hybridization program, but, and we'll get more into that with David Jacobs in a bit, but I don't know. It's like the old keep a earthling baby. It's I don't understand why. I mean, even if you're engaging in a hybridization program to, I don't know, replenish your genetic stock, as most people say, even then, you're going to hit a genetic bottleneck at some point. I don't know, unless you just keep making hybrid. But I mean, are these hybrids going to, I don't know, reproduce with each other? Are they going to reproduce with humans? Like, there's so many strange, unanswered questions and factors to this that just don't ever get brought up and don't make a lot of sense. It's like it's the whole yeah and then factor behind conspiracies and stories of this nature. I don't know, just there's too many questions. But yeah. The thing about The Fringe, her first book, and I'm straight up saying this is the only one I've read so far. The other book she did called Taken, I believe, is about several women. She talks about their experiences and abductions and what happened to them, and just sort of, and like the physical effects, things like that. Like some of them, have sicknesses, quote unquote, that they deal with. These could all be psychosomatic in nature. I don't know. The thing that gets to me, and this is where David Jacobs comes in. Also, big time hypnotherapist. He says he's dealt with thousands of cases of hypnotic regression of people who have been abducted or have been subjected to the hybridization program. And he even claims that the hybrids are living amongst us and that and there's parts that really don't make sense to me. Like he says that people have missing time, and during these missing time moments, they are being essentially commandeered by hybrid aliens and taught how to live amongst humanity. And he'll tell these stories about people under regression and how, like, an alien will sit on the edge of a chair and they're like, no, you got to lean back. And so the alien will get up and look around, or excuse me, the hybrid will get up and look around at the back of the chair and like, oh yeah, there's a back on this chair. I guess I can lean back, which just makes them all sound fucking retarded. I don't get it. You know, you think that some kind of advanced intelligence, or like he says that these hybrids have this neurological ability that sets them apart from humans, essentially, that allows them to read our thoughts. So if that were the case, why would they need people to teach them all this shit, like how to wear a shirt, how to go to a baseball game, etc.? It just doesn't. Just fucking read it. There it is. Read the book called The Brain. I don't understand. And then, of course, you have the factor of like, well, if these people are hybrids, like he says, like several of them will get an apartment together or whatever. But it's like, well, how do these hybrids just show up without a family or a background or a social security number? Do you realize how many fucking numbers are attached to you as a human being? You got your social, you got your driver's license, all that shit. Fucking like, you are a series of numbers, okay? These hybrids just show up and are supposed to fit in all of a sudden. Maybe they're using their neurological abilities to fucking, I don't know, just like, you don't need to see my number. Wave their hand and do the Jedi mind trick. I could be, you know, I know I sound like an asshole right now, but these are the questions that need to be asked. And the number one thing that really bothered me about David Jacobs, and go listen to him on Art Bell. And Art Bell, like, totally buys into it, too. He's not, I mean, I love Art Bell, but come on, Art Bell. Be a little more critical in your thinking. Like, ask the tougher, better questions. The one that really got me, and I forgot how this line of questioning was brought up with Dr. David Jacobs, but somebody was like, okay, so here's something we know, quote unquote, about alien abductions. The same people are abducted repeatedly through their lives, over and over, multiple times, like over and over and over again. Same people. So if he's dealt with thousands of people who are being abducted multiple times, at least a dozen or so, let's say, I'm just throwing a number out, would be cool. And his interview was done in 2015. So at least a dozen or so would have to be cool with 24/7 surveillance to vindicate themselves in what is actually happening to them. And somehow this gets brought up. I forget how they approach the subject, but he says that they'll put cameras around people's houses and then people will get up just in sort of a trance and turn them off or whatever. But, okay, why don't you get some other people outside to watch these fucking people? Like, if this is a method through which all of this could be verified and vindicated, you're fucking trying hard enough, okay? And I don't condone just fucking buying your story if you're not fucking taking every opportunity to prove, to come up with some objective evidence of what is actually happening, if indeed it's happening. There's no, psychological condition that mimics an alien abduction, but I mean, come on, we got to try a little harder, right? He just kind of leaves it at that too, which is why I take issue with the guy. I just don't understand. If you have the opportunity, then fucking take it. I don't know. There's one small short clip of a video that I found on YouTube that shows what may be an alien looking around into someone's bedroom. But dude, all of it's done on such shitty cameras, and all of it's, and now we have like AI generated bullshit left and right. So we live in a post-truth world. Whoever says it the loudest the most times, that's what the fucking truth is, unfortunately. So I don't know. Just it's aggravating because I want this to be real. I want this stuff to be true, because that opens up so many vistas. If all of this becomes real, do you realize what a shift in reality that is? I don't think people apply as much of their fucking brain power to what this means, what it could mean, what the possibilities are behind a phenomenon like this. So, but that's just me. Maybe I'm a stickler. I don't know. I do have a few more notes from Dr. Karla Turner's book that I put down while reading. I think it's very strange, these marks that are left on the body. And this sort of goes back into the whole Jacques Vallée sort of, if you're unfamiliar with Jacques Vallée, he sort of presents this theory that alien abduction is a lot like the old-timey fairy stories. Like, this is a phenomena that in one way or another has been happening to humanity for ages. It's just that we frame it differently throughout the ages. So back in ye olden times, in ye old shithole shire, it would be fairies or elves or whatever that take you to the other world, etc. And then you come back as a changeling or a hybrid, whatever. There's so many just overlapping and intersecting story points with a lot of this stuff. But I find one particular phenomena very strange that interplays with another old-timey phenomenon, and that's all these markings, like these alleged scars, surgical scars, leftover things like that, scabby bits, whatever you want to call it. These coincide with a phenomenon back in the day called witch markings. And witch markings, if you look into it, like, sometimes it's a third tit or something like that, but sometimes there's like, and one that appears a lot actually is a ... triangle formation. This is the most reoccurring, like well-known one. And what's extra strange is this is also reported to show up on cattle mutilations. So I think that's, I don't know, as far as a quote-unquote form of physical evidence goes, that is very strange to me. It's food for thought. On your buffalo burger. Don't eat that food. Don't eat those. Don't eat cattle mutilation. It's not good. Predators won't touch it. So there's obviously something going on. Something strange. What? Sorry, I have a cat in here. But yeah, as far as extra notes I had, let's see. The phenomena of abductions. No, wait, hold on. Imparting abductees or contactees with visions and or messages of crisis and catastrophe, often of an atomic and or environmental nature or origin as our impending fate, lest we change our ways, is a reoccurring theme. And I don't know why that is. I actually, if the aliens are real, I think it's because they need this shit. They need our planet. They need our resources. But that's, that's if they're real. If. Missing time. Missing time. I forgot what I had about missing time. Let's see here. Oh, as far as my own weird theory about what this could be, it's somewhat in line with Jacques Vallée, and it's somewhat in line with the idea of ultra-terrestrials, but I'm starting to think that this could all be, how to put this? I've mentioned in older episodes an idea I had called Tulpatronics, which is basically the idea of like tulpas and egregores is like people creating thought forms, but at the same time, that being coerced or controlled or manipulated in mass via propaganda or the media. Somebody is controlling the creation of thought forms in mass. There's the concept of mimetic entities, which are, a meme is more than just a cat picture. It's, a viral unit of information that spreads. It's like the information unit of a gene is in genetics. So when you have mimetic entities, say that, for example, the Cold War, you have an entire superpower that is flying under the flag of capitalism, and then you have another superpower that is flying under the flag of communism. Now, if things got super shitty during the Cold War, and you got and then fucking everybody destroys each other, one of them is going to come out on top. And it doesn't matter whether it's people, it's the idea. So the idea is going to win either way, if that makes sense. I don't know. I might be a crazy person. But that's kind of what there's something somewhere between like Platonic solids or Neoplatonic ideas of archetypes and just like maybe they're these sentient ideas that are behind our activities and our behaviors. I don't know. It's something I'm still working on. I'm fleshing it out. It has to do with how human beings think in narratives and cause and effect, and we live by stories. We use storytelling to impart ideas and the big ideas, like the moral lessons that we should learn, things like that. We use storytelling to sort of get them across better than we do of just outright saying it. Anyone can say a empty platitude or it's just the same old bullshit rhetoric you hear all the time. But when you put it into a story, then it's easier to impart. You can see how it works and plays out. So, I don't know. I feel like maybe these stories have a separate life from our own. This is just a weird sort of pseudo-psychedelic theory of my own I'm working on. But, yeah. So, that's Karla Turner and Dr. Jacobs. Oh, man. Let's see. My brain is struggling to catch up still. So let's close out with some true crime, and I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. Let me see here. 1 second. I will say also for my notes that I took down while reading Dr. Karla Turner's book, one of the main points that stuck out to me was the psychological survival mechanisms of traumatic experiences are maybe some way equivalent to the immune system. If Jungian archetypes can more or less exist independently within the subconscious or collective unconscious, perhaps there may be other forms of internalized, semi-sentient, or pseudo-sapient Neoplatonic forms or mimetic entities, or even something akin to so-called idea complexes known as demons, like the demons of the Goetia. If you're not familiar with the Goetia, it's something that sorcerers have used to conjure up quote-unquote demons, but all these demons are more or less idea complexes. They kind of represent the worst parts of yourself, so to speak. So maybe there's like an opposite to that, and maybe that's what these aliens are. This kind of like plays into my overriding theory of everything. Maybe these aliens are sort of antibodies of the psychological mechanisms which the mind operates under. Maybe all the medical experimentation and, reproductive ballyhoo, etc., all the genitalia stuff, maybe these are, psychological mechanisms that are sort of personified or given shape and form to interact with ourselves, if that makes sense. A sort of system of I guess antibodies is really the best way I can put it. I mean, it's not always going to be pleasant. Maybe these things are sort of, you get sick and your antibodies go to work and you get a fever because they're working so hard. Maybe this is like that sort of overarching shamanic sickness that you have to deal with on occasion in order to grow and evolve, or excise the fucking tumors and the cancer of your psychological being that need to be extracted, your hang-ups. I don't know, because when Karla Turner talks about how these experiences, traumatic as they may be, cause people to change their worldviews, change their ideas about things, especially ecologically, globally. People start to think on a different level. They start to think more spiritually, etc. So even though these experiences are horrifying, what comes out of them, the growth that comes out of them, can be positive to a degree. I mean, she also does mention a lot of a lot of very bad things as well. Apparently, some people who've been subjected to alien abduction can become compulsive masturbators. So, if that's the case, I'm pretty sure just about everyone on this fucking planet has been abducted by aliens at some point. But there's also changes in sexuality. There's changes in intimacy, things like that can sort of close people off. But, maybe that's just what you need at that time. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that the product of these events in people's lives are always necessarily positive, but sometimes you don't always get what you want. You get what you need, according to the song. But you don't know what the fuck is good for you sometimes. My life is a testament to that. So I can say firsthand that that's just the case sometimes. And sometimes you got to get fucking slapped by reality to get your shit situated. You got to fucking just, you got to take it and move on and grow from it. Not everything is going to be pleasant. Without conflict in life, you don't grow. You don't become a better person. You don't become stronger without adversity. And fucking, man, as much bullshit as I put up with in my life, I'm, if anything, a stronger, better person for having dealt with it. All the fucking quote-unquote, I hesitate to use the word trauma in my own life because I feel like it lessens other, I don't know, that's what my therapist calls it, fucking just, but I don't really consider it trauma. But, just all the bullshit you have to deal with in life. It's what makes you stronger. It's adversity. The word Satan, to bring it back around to the devil again and demons, the word Satan means adversary. It's something that stands in your way. It's something that must be overcome. And everything is there, I won't say for a reason, because some shit just doesn't need to be. but all adversity makes you stronger. It fucking puts you in the fire of the forge, and you come out fucking blacksmith the fuck up into something stronger and better and more resilient. So, everybody out there that's struggling, doing what you can, doing what you got to do to get through the day, believe in what you need to believe to get through the day, because with each day, you're just getting stronger. And I have no choice but to believe that. That's usually how it is with most things. I have no choice but to believe that everything is getting better to a degree, because otherwise, what's the fucking point? So, yeah, that's my closing thought for the day, I guess. I have a true crime story that I want to talk about. I just need to find it real quick because my computer took a shit recently. It's being real fucking persnickety. So please give me one moment. So, excuse me, my fucking Peabody cat pissed on my bed. I had to change that real quick. But I'm back. See? Radio magic. Takes no time at all. He's fucking lucky I love him. All right, piss on him. All right. It's okay. He's sick. Anyway, he doesn't know what he's doing. I think he might be retarded. Anyways, so true crime story to close out with. This is a gruesome one, folks. Poland, 1999. By the way, this is from a website called Herman the Shocker, and there are pictures. I don't know if they're real. Some look very real. Some look fake. So, yeah. Poland, 1999. A 26-year-old man killed his father by multiple puncture wounds to the chest and neck using a sharpened screwdriver. He lured his father into the cellar and, before inflicting the fatal strokes, he tried in vain to electrocute him using a stun gun. After this, he hung his father by the legs in a cellar window and decapitated him using a surgical scalpel and shovel. Additionally, he made deep incisions across the popliteal fossa, I think that's on the top of the head, to bleed the corpse and collected the blood from the cervical stump vessels in a bucket. He then took the separated head and neck upstairs to his room and scalped it through the whole night. I guess these are real pictures. Oh boy. Afterward, he threw the head in the garden. Next, using a thread, he sutured together the soft tissues of the head, additionally trying to repair them with a prosthetic plastic mask. He then dried the scalp using salt, thus preventing putrefaction. Subsequently, he placed his scalp mask over his head, previously shaved and layered with stick tape. He put on his father's clothes, hat, glasses, and scarf, and left home to sit on a bench. When his grandfather came by, he started a conversation with him, pretending to be his father. The grandfather did not recognize him and was sure that he was talking with his son. After a while, they even had breakfast together. I believe it was cereal. Finally, the grandfather, surprised by the unnatural voice of his quote-unquote son and suspicious of his interlocutor, went into the cellar where he found the body and departed for a neighbor's house to call the police. The grandson, finding that the crime had come to light, left home, taking garments his father wore on the day of his death, and found a hiding place nearby. He observed the scene and the investigation carried out by the police. He then sat on a bus stop bench where he was later arrested. There's no name given for the man other than Vladimir W. But this takes place in Poland, where another somewhat similar crime, and this is extra rough. A woman by the name of Katerina. God, I don't have her last name, and I apologize for that. But that's probably for the best, actually. Katerina was murdered, and her skin was found. How to put this? It was clogging an engine on a boat. So someone skinned this woman and basically threw her skin suit into the water. And there are pictures of that as well. They're a little, I hesitate to say graphic because you can't even really tell what you're looking at. But I don't know. If you're into gore, I would check out the fatherhead story. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But there is some inference that these cases might be related. That this may have not been this man's first rodeo. And usually with a crime this gruesome, that is the case. Most people do not just right out the gate engage in that sort of behavior. So, yeah, it's a rough one. Like I said, you can check out the website called Herman the Shocker, or just search Polish man, where's father's head? It's, oh boy. The fact that he sat and had a conversation with his grandfather while wearing his father's head is the utmost outrageous horseshit I've read in a long time. It's a crazy story. It's, I can see why they would keep the names out. I'm sorry. Thoughts go out to that family. What's left of it. Jeez Louise. Pardon me. Okay. I think that's going to be it for today. I don't want to get too into the weeds on a lot of stuff today because I think my audio is fucking up and I don't want to subject you all to that too much. So hopefully this episode turns out fairly clear. Thanks for coming by again. Sorry again about my absence. I'm still working through it. Yeah. Like I said, we all need a slap in the fucking face sometimes. It just helps you get through. It's a reality check, I believe it's called. Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe. Quote unquote, in quotation marks, reality. So yeah. Next week is going to be... Let me see. I'm looking at my my playing board here. Let me see. I think next week we might be going to Japan again, because I'm a weeaboo and I love things from Japan. So we're going to talk about an individual who is essentially the Japanese equivalent of Merlin, except he was real. So we're going to get into that. Yeah. Once again, thanks for coming by. Thanks for listening. My name's Mike. This is Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts. I appreciate the fuck out of all you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the messages while I was sick, the text messages, etc. You know you are. You keep me going. Thank you very much, all of you. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next week. Peace.